making sense of politics and the cultural divide from a different perspective. This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant on News Radio 710 Keel.
Well, hello, citizens. It's a great day in the USA, and I trust that you're having a fantastic Tuesday evening. We are advancing the cause of liberty and freedom. I'm C.L. Bryant, and this is America on the Edge, where you'll not live on the edge, but you will have the edge. Glad to be back with you. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your prayers. My wife, Jane, is doing fantastically well, and I thank God for that. Stephen, I want to tell you, man, you did a fantastic job.
Well, thank you so much, CL.
Here we are, have the privilege of broadcasting from within the borders of the greatest success story the world has ever known, and that is the good old USA. You folks tune in, stay a while. Here with Stephen Parr, my co-host. Stephen, what do we have for the folks in the lineup this time?
Funny you mentioned broadcasting from within the borders, because we will be talking about the borders, but we're also going to be talking about the borders and Ebola, because there is a bit of a connection.
That Ebola's a nasty cat, too.
Yeah, hopefully not too much of a connection, but some of the information that we have for you is going to bother some folks. We're also going to be interviewing live Lieutenant Colonel Sean Seibert. You may not have heard of him, but he is running for Congress in Houston, the 18th District in Texas. He's running against Sheila Jackson Lee.
And the questions we have for him will be very interesting. Hang around.
That may not be quite as interesting as some of the things that she has said in the past.
Oh, you gotta wait. You gotta hear some of this.
You gotta hear some of this stuff. So we'll talk about that. Plus, the media. Since we're talking on radio and we're talking here on Town Square Media 710 Keel, the media is really consolidated into just a few companies, not a whole bunch. And so the question is, how do you get your news?
And that's a very interesting question. You need to ask yourself that very question, folks. Where do you get your news from? Who are you listening to? It's important.
And we will be talking about that. That does lead to our question of the day. There are just 6 companies that control 90% of the media. Where do you get your news? Let us know. Give us a call, 318-320-KEEL, K-E-E-L, or send us a tweet at The American Edge, at The American Edge. You can also reach us on Facebook.com/America on the Edge.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, people, it is important to tune in at least 1 hour. That's all we ask.
That's all we ask.
1 hour.
That's it.
Every day. And hey, ask at least one friend to tune in with you.
Yeah, if you're liking the show and you're learning something here, or it's making you think in a different way, just ask a friend to join you once a week, and let's see if we can continue to grow the folks here listening to America on the Edge.
And we're soon going to have another outing like we did at Giuseppe's, and we certainly hope you join us there. And who knows, Glenn may be our next guest at that open meeting.
That'll be neat.
Yeah.
Let's listen to The Buzz.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz?
There is some sad news coming out of Afghanistan today. A 2-star general was killed by an Afghan soldier at a graduation ceremony at a military base there. The soldier, according to the BBC, had been in the Afghan army for 3 years going through this training. The U.S. general was at a graduation ceremony. The soldier opened fire, did kill the 2-star general. The general is Harold Green. Harold Green. Actually, according to some of his bio, his first station after he joined the Army was at Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Our soldiers over there, friend or foe, if you don't know, that creates chaos. If you don't know who your friends are and who your enemies are, I mean, when a guy who looks like you, a Green Marine, when he looks like you, and you can't identify, that creates chaos. And I'm afraid that we have to really deal with this, and everything's happening under this administration.
And this is the first general that's been killed in combat. 9/11, we lost a 3-star general in the Pentagon when the terrorists attacked the Pentagon with the airliner. Before that, we haven't lost a general since Vietnam. We lost 2 in Vietnam, but it's a very rare occurrence for that to happen. Coming up, we want to let you know about an event that's happening 2 months from today. It is called Pulpit Freedom Sunday on October 5th. And see how you're actually going to be a part of this Pulpit Freedom Sunday.
Yes, I'm going to be in Dallas or Houston. I have a choice between the two, and we're going to be challenging the IRS. We're going to throw down the gauntlet. Hey, come out. We dare you to tell us that talking about preachers, talking about pastors, people of the cloth, any minister out there, we're daring the IRS to tell us that we cannot speak our minds from the pulpit.
This is one of those from what's called the Johnson Amendment. LBJ got this passed back in the 1950s when he was a senator, basically barring people from talking about politics inside the pulpit.
Yeah.
And there are many people who believe that absolutely goes against freedom of speech.
If this had happened, Stephen, back in the days of slavery, slavery would have never been talked about from the pulpit ever. There were Southern abolitionists too.
Right.
And so it would have never been talked about. And this type of thing cannot stand in this country. It's a direct affront to our First Amendment.
We will be talking more about this Pulpit Freedom Sunday coming up on October 5th, but wanted to give you a heads up that that's happening 2 months from today. A 5-year-old, see how it's so sad, a 5-year-old lost an election. I'm going to play the clip. Listen to this clip of the 5-year-old former mayor.
Remember this little boy? This is 5-year-old Bobby Tufts, and he has served 3 terms as mayor of a small Minnesota town. But the tiny tot politician has been pushed out by a 16-year-old. But he took it all in good stride and says, quote, "It was time to pass on the vote." He was the first elected to lead the town of 28 residents when he was just 3 years old.
How many people is in that town, Stephen?
About between 9 and 28, depending upon the day of the week.
Between and so the kid got beat out by the 16-year-old.
By a 16-year-old, and they have an interesting voting process. They don't actually have a government in that town, but they have an interesting voting process. You can pay $1 and have your name put into a jar. And then after the process goes through, and you can have your name put in there as many times as you want, as long as you pay $1 each time, and then a name's drawn out.
That's their revenue.
That's basically
that's the city's revenue.
Right, exactly.
Oh man, that's too cute. The kid, if you get a look at that kid's a real cute kid too. The 5-year-old kid, anyway.
Yeah.
But listen, this is C.L. Bryant, America on the Edge, and we certainly want you to hang around. We'll be back in a minute.
Giving you the edge. This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
The Italians are not the only lovers of pizza, but just to make the Johnny's of Pizza House experience more authentic for you, we invite you to Be Italian. We'll whisk you far, far away to a land of romance and squisito Italian pizza. A 12-inch for just $12.99 begins your journey. Our new bacon and tomato pizza seasoned with Johnny's special Italian blend. Enjoy, no. Goodere Johnny's bacon and tomato pizza today. Johnny's Pizza House. Taste the best.
Doctors Thornton, Pugh, Ollier, and Watkins from the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center are excited to tell you about a new, made-for-iPhone hearing aid, Resound Links. Resound Links is the fully featured hearing aid designed to connect directly with iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. Built with revolutionary technology to bring you a smarter, smaller, and more connected hearing experience. Call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links. That's 888-408-6318 to schedule your appointment to learn all about Resound Links. Apple, iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch are trademarks of Apple Incorporated, registered in the U.S. and other countries. Once again, call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links.
Hello, everybody. This is Henry Burr. God, faith, and freedom are not free. Many have paid the price. Let freedom ring. What a great radio program. Go get 'em, CL.
Have you ever thought, I wish I didn't have to search for the best price on printing or direct mail. Tired of trying to design your own material on some confusing website just to get to the end and it's not that professional look your business needs? Well, stop searching and call Graphic Industries. We've been waiting on your business, ready to help you with your printing and direct mail needs. Graphic Industries offers all types of print, stationery, brochures, flyers, catalogs, door hangers, books, pocket folders, postcards, variable printed letters, and much, much more. Graphic Industries can direct mail for you, too. You can customize a mailing list, target a certain demographic, or just flood the market and get your name in the homes of thousands of potential clients. Lowest prices, best quality, and a faster turn time. Visit us online at graphicindustries.net. or call us today at 318-222-1100. Graphic Industries, the #1 choice of printing and direct mail.
If the number on your thermostat is going up just as quickly as the temperature outside, your air conditioner may have a serious problem. Give the friendly folks over at Premier Heating and Cooling a call at 222-1980.
You're listening to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant. I am Stephen Parr. Our question of the day, where do you get your news? How do you find out about what's going on in the world around you? And is it a source that you can trust? Let us know. Give us a phone call. 318-320-KEEL. You can also send us a tweet at The American Edge. You can get us on Facebook, facebook.com/America on the Edge. Well, one of the places I get my news a lot of different places, but I was reading NOLA.com, and the governor, Bobby Jindal, went to the border of Texas yesterday. And he says that he saw, get this, CL, in the tour that he went on, he saw 3 different attempts of groups to cross the border.
And, you know, Stephen, what's so amazing about Governor Jindal being down there is the fact that firsthand, and you were talking about how you get your news.
Yeah.
You're a news junkie.
Oh, yeah.
And no doubt about it, I'm a news junkie. We stay on top of what's going on in this country. But those people who are coming across that border, did Bobby know how many? Did Governor Jindal know how many people? How many? I think it was 1,000 people have been placed here.
Yeah, he
had no clue that they were here.
According to the governor, 1,000 kids, 1,071 kids, these unaccompanied illegal immigrant minors have been placed in Louisiana. Most of them in the New Orleans area.
And we don't know if you want to stop the spread of disease. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to mention the Ebola right now. But if you don't want to infect a great population, you don't want to put those people in a heavily populated area, as closely populated as New Orleans is. New Orleans, like, it's thick as fleas down there.
And it's not just one place. They're doing this all over the country.
All over the country.
The governor has written a letter to the president saying, what are you doing? Let me know about these kids. I want to know where they are. I want this to stop. I got to have more information. So, like other governors from other states, he's now written to the president saying, you got to give me some more information.
Chaos is being created, folks.
And the president keeps saying he's going to add to the chaos. He's not saying he's going to add to the chaos.
But he might as well.
But that's what he's going to do.
He might as well said it.
Because he's saying by the 1st of September, by Labor Day, he's going to issue another executive action.
Another brilliant move by Caesar.
Yeah, and he's gonna use his pen and his phone and solve the problem. Because Congress hasn't acted according to the president.
But now, Stephen, has his pen and phone ever solved any problems yet?
Is
there one? Can you name one?
I can.
What one problem that his pen and phone
When
solved?
you're working on the New York Times crossword puzzle and you don't know an answer, you can call someone who does. That's the phone, and then you use the pen to fill it in.
That's mean.
That's mean. I'm sorry. Okay, but the president had time to work on this before. I want you to hear a press conference yesterday. Josh Earnest, and then also this is Ed Henry really going after Josh Earnest about why the president had already done something.
President vowed back in 2008, by the end of my first year in office, we'll pass comprehensive immigration reform. That was his promise. So they failed to act for 2 years. Why didn't he do anything then?
Well, I'll say a couple things about that, Ed. The first is that at the time, you recall back in 2009, there were many things on the president's plate. There are
now. Israel, Gaza, Syria, the economy. He has a lot going on now, right?
He does.
Now, Stephen, this is the new press secretary?
Yeah, this is
He
Josh
took
Earnest.
Jay Carney's place.
Right.
And Jay Carney was horrible.
Well,
Jay Carney was bad. Let's face it.
Given what
Face
he had
up to it.
given
Face
what
up
he
to
had
it.
to work with.
Well, yeah, but that's true. But Carney was bad.
Yeah.
And this guy said, what? He said, what?
Well, the president couldn't get to immigration back in the day because he was so busy
He was
in
too
2009.
Now, back in the day meant back in 2009.
Right. There was the whole economy thing. He had to get Obama pushed through. There was lots of golf.
And so much was going on then.
Yeah.
Was he still taking as many golf swings back then?
Oh yeah. Plus he had to have the beer summit. Remember he had to have
the
that.
beer summit.
Yeah,
That
had
was,
to do that.
Oh yeah, that was real important.
Yeah.
Because the professor got arrested breaking into his own house.
Right.
Was that it?
Yeah,
and
that
so
was
he
it.
called the cop and the professor in. That was real important.
Yeah.
Too much was going on at that time for him to deal with this.
Yeah, but now that we've got Israel and we've got Syria and we've got Putin trying to take over Ukraine, and we've got all these people coming across the border, and we still have Obamacare, the website's a mess.
There's nothing on
We
his
still
plate.
have all the IRS where there's not a smidgen of. We've got all this stuff going on. Now he's got time to handle
He
it.
doesn't have anything on his plate, though.
Yeah, listen to the rest of the interview.
Why didn't you focus on solving immigration problems then?
And my point is, Ed, that there were a lot of other crises that the president was focused on at that point. And what we're focused on now is trying to find common sense solutions, bipartisan solutions, to a problem that a wide majority of Americans acknowledge exists at this point.
Now listen, folks, if you've never thought before that they think you're stupid, you should think it now. They think you're stupid.
How can you have bipartisan solution when it's executive action?
Exactly.
It's not even by person solution. It's one guy.
You're right. With his pen
and
his
his
telephone.
phone. Not even the same thing.
He's a dictator. He's a would-be.
He's trying to. He's
A
trying to
wannabe.
write.
He's a wannabe.
Again, these edicts coming out.
Is there anything, Stephen, worse than a wannabe?
I mean, you either how about a never was?
Oh man,
right.
you got that sharp razor out today.
I'm mean today. All right, I do want to get to this next part because I'm going to wrap this all around. You mentioned Ebola just a little bit ago. We have now had 2 Americans who were working over in Africa. One is a missionary, one is a doctor, trying to help people that are suffering from this Ebola outbreak. They both caught it. They've both come back to the United States to try and get some treatment. And some of that's experimental treatment. Now, Dr. Ben Carson, a friend of yours, was talking about this, and he's not a fan of this. Listen to what he says.
Ebola is a terrifying disease. You know, if you don't treat it, you know, close to 90% of people will die. Why would we bring that into our country? Why would we expose ourselves when we already know that there are problems that can occur and have occurred?
So bottom line, Dr. Carson, you think this is a mistake by the CDC, by Emory University Hospital to bring Ebola into this country?
I certainly would treat it where it is, use our expertise, and then once we've cured the individuals, bring them back with open arms.
Now, you know what, Stephen? I'm not really sold on Dr. Ben, who is a friend of mine. I've been with him on several occasions, and I helped my pastor bring him here to this city for a men's conference. Yeah. Not sold on his candidacy for president, but his credentials as a doctor,
right,
and knowledgeable of those types of things, I am totally sold on. And this Ebola thing, you and I were talking about this, the open borders. Let's link this to the open borders,
right.
Let's link this to the children.
Right.
You can contract this through body fluids, that type of thing, saliva, that type of thing.
Yeah.
If there was an infected kid, and the incubation period, from what I understand, is about 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's a long incubation period.
Folks, think about this. Not trying to scare any of you, but this is a reality. Your kid's playing on the playground with some kid who's come across the border. You don't know this, but they're in the playground. Your kid could be infected, and every other kid on the playground could be infected before anybody knows about it 2 to 3 weeks later.
That's absolutely right. And it does get to the point. Dr. Ben Carson didn't like the idea of we were bringing 2 patients here that, one, we knew had Ebola, and we were taking them directly to the hospital that is best suited in the entire country to handle it. He didn't like that.
Right.
Listen to what Dr. Thomas Sowell wrote. In an article, he talked about logic is obsolete. He said, back when masses of immigrants from Europe were entering this country, those with dangerous diseases were turned back from Ellis Island. Nobody thought they had a legal or moral right to be in America, or that it was mean or racist not to want our children to catch their diseases. So he's talking about what you're talking about.
Right. And Dr. Thomas Sowell, if you ever catch the movie Runaway Slave, is in my movie. I got a chance to interview him, one of the great minds that's ever been on earth. And he's right. Back in the days when there were immigrants coming here legally, you would actually turn them back. Now there are immigrants, or there are people bum rushing the border down there who we know have disease. And somebody, listen, they're not screening these people. These children are not being screened. The adults are not being screened. Tell you something else is not being screened. MS-13, the gangs are not being screened.
So here is how we're going to bring this all back together. A report released yesterday on Breitbart said that so far, at least 71 individuals from the 3 nations currently affected by the Ebola outbreak have either turned themselves in or been caught attempting to enter the U.S. but illegally by authorities between January and July of this year. 71 people from the place where the outbreak is happening have snuck across our border that we know about.
So we're not talking out of school here, folks. We are telling you exactly what is real, what is happening. This is C.L. Bryant, America on the Edge with Stephen Parr.
This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
It's a summer sizzler showcase. You could win a $5,000 gift card to any Louisiana Boardwalk store, including Bass Pro Shops. Presented by the Outlets at Louisiana Boardwalk. Look online to win at 710keel.com.
If you knew that in 72 hours you'd have $35,000 to cover your needs, what would you do? Pay off high-rate credit cards? Start a business? Do that home improvement project? With a low fixed-rate loan through Prosper, you can. Prosper is Silicon Valley's answer to personal loans. With Prosper's peer-to-peer lending process, there are no outrageous fees, no raising interest rates, and you'll never set foot in a bank. Prosper has more than 2 million members and over $1 billion in funded loans. Just go to prosper.com/gift card to check your rate instantly without affecting your good credit. For a limited time, Prosper is offering listeners a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. Go to prosper.com/gift card. That's a special site for our listeners. Other restrictions apply. See site for program and Visa prepaid card details. All personal loans are made by WebBank, a Utah chartered industrial bank. Member FDIC equal housing lender. Up to $35,000 in just 3 days and a $50 Visa prepaid card. Go to prosper.com/gift card now. That's prosper.com/gift card.
Hello, I'm Liz, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the legislative vesting clause of the Constitution.
Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution states, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States. To the founders, legislative power was the power to make laws that apply to all alike, that are clear and easy to understand. The Constitution says all legislative powers, and that means Congress cannot rightfully delegate these powers to some other body. Today our laws are thousands of pages long. Sometimes rules are tens of thousands, and no one can read them. Congress has abdicated its legislative power to unelected bureaucrats and countless executive agencies. This is a violation of Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
If you're not college age anymore, but you are interested in taking some college courses, maybe even earning a degree, there's the perfect option, Northwestern State. Global through ENSU, our extensive campus in cyberspace. Local with the main campus in Natchitoches and also locations in Shreveport, Leesville, and Alexandria. At NSU, we have options that can help redesign your future into what you want it to be. Change for the better, forever at NSU. Proudly serving people since 1884 and getting better every day.
William F. Duncan doesn't just offer auto, home, and life insurance. He does it with great personal service. William F. Duncan has covered Caddo and DeSoto parishes for over 18 years. Call him today, 318-532-4300. Tell him CL sent you.
You're listening to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant. I'm Stephen Parr. Our question of the day today, where do you get your news? Media is being consolidated all the time. Power is in a very small circle nowadays. We want to know, how do you find out what's going on in the world around you? Let us know. Call us 318-320-KEEL. Send us a tweet at The American Edge.
You could be thinking
The American Edge.
You could be thinking weird thoughts and don't know why.
See,
depends
you
on
would know.
where you're getting that news.
Who's putting that in your head? We are privileged to have on the phone with us Lieutenant Colonel Sean Seibert. He's in Houston right now, and he is running for Congress as a Republican against Democrat Sheila Jackson Lee. Now, she's had a pretty strong hold on that since the 1990s, the 18th District there in the Houston area. Colonel Seibert, thanks for joining us on American on the Edge.
No, thanks for having me. One correction, I got promoted to colonel last year, so I'm a full colonel now.
I'm sorry I missed
blown.
that.
Okay.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
And you've spent a long time in the military. You've served in several tours of duty. You served in the Kuwait, correct?
I started off as a private 31 years ago, and I've served in Guatemala, the first Gulf War. I served in Bosnia. I've served over in Europe, and I've also served 2 tours in Afghanistan for a total of 19 months.
Well, Colonel, I want to welcome you to the show. This is C.L. Bryant, and the first. Do you happen to know Stephen Broden by the chance, Pastor Stephen Broden?
I do not know.
Okay, Stephen Broden did run. I don't know if it was against Sheila Jackson Lee, but just the same, there in Dallas or in Houston, she has a stranglehold on that seat. Tell us what makes you think that you'll be able to wrestle that out of her hands? Now, you being Caucasian for the sake of conversation, so the folks know, and that being a mostly Hispanic and black area, what gives you hope?
Well, she's been in office for 20 years, and like she used against Craig Washington when she defeated him, she stopped doing her job. And the same thing has happened here. I've been going out to the community, talking to the people, talking to the community leaders for the past 2 years, and finding out what their issues are and getting to know them, let them get to know me. That's how you start doing it. When I ran in 2012, as my first campaign, we got more votes than anybody in history against her. And I was a newcomer. I only had $46,000 against her $500,000. We won more precincts than anyone has. We actually defeated her in precincts she's never lost before. And so we're just getting out there and getting people to know who we are. And the other thing I've told people, it's like a football game. You have to keep moving the ball down the field. I may not be the one who gets elected, but if I'm the one who gets down there close to the goal line for someone to come in behind me and kick that field goal, it's success.
For the folks that don't know what Congressman Jackson Lee has done, she has a reputation of saying some pretty unintelligent things. I just want to play a couple of clips.
Stephen, how do you really feel about this?
I'm trying to be
pretty
as nice.
unintelligent.
Pretty unintelligent was about the nicest way I could put it.
Okay.
I just want to play a couple of examples for folks at home. If I'm being too harsh to the representative, let me know. But
it was totally
but
racist.
Listen to
it was
this.
totally racist.
I know.
I stand here as a freed slave because this Congress came together. Are we going to be able to do it today to free America?
But I'm reminded of someone, proverb now quoted by Sheila Jackson Lee, cleaning a dirty kitchen. You can't clean it with dirty water.
Okay, 2 things there. She's a freed slave. I did not know that, apparently.
I didn't know either.
And 2,
looks good, though.
She's old enough to quote her own proverbs.
Yeah, and the proverb she quoted, but she is Sheila Jackson Lee, right?
She is Sheila Jackson Lee.
And she quoted Sheila Jackson Lee.
In the third person.
Okay, I've not quite ever heard that done before.
Like I told people, a lot of people ask me about this.
Yeah.
I do not, if you look at my campaign, we do not attack her. That's the way she was raised. That's her personality. I can't fault her for her personality and the way her parents raised her. We campaign a very clean campaign. We talk about our issues and about ourselves. I will attack her when she came on the House floor and talked about how the Democrats never tried to impeach Bush, and she actually was a co-sponsor. I'll hop on her for what she on legislation like that, but because she says stupid things, I'll let you in the media talk about it, other people talk about it. We're going to stay above that fray because it's too petty for us, and there's serious issues that need to be talked about. So you guys can have fun talking about it. I won't partake in that.
I like your style there as far as it's concerned, but this is the thing that we really want to point out as to how uninformed some voters can be when they choose a candidate who is as uninformed as Sheila Jackson Lee. You seem to be a pretty sharp guy, and we're going to credit you for that. But this is what I want to ask you. I work with a group of people there in Houston, King Street Patriots. You probably know Catherine Engelbrecht, a very good friend of mine. And Catherine and, of course, another group I work with, Freedom Works, we're afraid that Texas very well could turn blue if, in fact, folks like you are not successful. What do you think?
I agree wholeheartedly. I had to remind people that we've only had 4 Republican governors since Reconstruction. The first elected Republican statewide was in 1962. Texas has been a blue state up until the Reagan era, and then became red. It's very easy for the state to go back to being blue. And part of that is instead of solidifying your Republican base in Republican area, you have to bring the fight to the opponents. In the military, we bring the fight to the enemy. We don't just sit back and let them attack us in our strongholds. We go into their strongholds. We bring our message to them. We communicate with them, and we let them know who we are, and we start converting voters.
Colonel, that's the way it used to be, Colonel. We don't fight wars like that anymore. I'm glad you're from the old school. And let me ask you about the black church. The black church has been instrumental in keeping the black vote in the black neighborhood and in black candidates. How are you planning on wrestling that away from the black preacher?
Well, on the Sunday before the 2012 election, I was invited into 5 black churches in Acres Home to talk to the congregation. I have certain black churches that are actually out there campaigning for me because they sat down with me, they saw who I was, and like they've told me, we vote for the person based on the person we know, not just based on the party or the skin color.
Do they know you?
So, say again, sir?
Do they know you?
Some of them do, yes. Some of the ones in Third Ward and some of the ones in Acres Home do, yes.
And
not all of them.
And so one of the things that CL and I talk about all the time is that policies that have been proposed and implemented by the Democratic Party and by some of the candidates that are already in office don't really help minorities near as much as they say they do.
No, they don't. And one of the big differences between me and my opponent is with our policy on the Republican side, we'll put more money back in your paycheck, and the Democrats are going to take more money out of your pocket. So that's what your pocketbook is what's important to you, how much money you want to have to be able to spend. That's one of the things that's different between the two of us.
But you see, Colonel, this is one of the concerns. You've just named exactly the concern that we have, and that concern is this. That very scenario that you've just described where progressive liberals have been abusing black folks and minorities, poor people, poor whites, for ages, for decades, but yet they continue to go to the poll and vote for the abusers. How do you account for that? What do you make of that? How is it possible that your message and others like you have not cracked through that armor of abuse in all these years?
There's several ways. One is you have to have money to advertise on TV and radio so you can combat some of the lies that the opponent puts out. And that's part of the way you can educate people. Being on radio, educating them is another way. Going out and talking to them. There are certain groups down here, the African-American conservatives, the MLK Republicans. There's the Raging Elephants that are out there in the community, in the black community, educating them and converting some of those and educating them what the Republican Party can do to help their neighborhoods.
You mentioned Raging Elephants. That's Apostle Amani Claver, a good friend of mine. Do you know him?
Yes, I've met him once. I've been on a few of the shows. I'm scheduled to be on one of their shows again in the next couple weeks.
I would strongly suggest that you partner with him. A great man of God, and somebody who is a shaker and a mover, a motivator down there. And yes, you sound like, Colonel, that you have a fighting chance. You have a fighting chance, and I think that if you go out there, go ahead.
The district has been changed, redistricted. So they've changed the lines. The amount of people moving into the district have changed as well. And so that gives us a fighting chance. And also, this is a midterm election. We have 335,000 registered voters. We're expecting maybe 120,000 people to cast their vote in this election.
Colonel, what do you make?
The numbers are low that if we can get our Republican base out, convert some of the moderate Democrats over and the independent libertarians, we can win.
Colonel, what do you make of the border situation? We haven't had a chance to ask you about that, but don't want to let you go, you being there in Houston, without asking you your take on that.
Well, my assignment in 2010 was on the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan. I ran a task force. Our situation down our border, our federal government has given up on our southern border. Their job is to protect our border. The state of Texas has had to go down and do it. There's a lot of things that have to happen, and I can't explain them all to you in a short 5 minutes. But there's the use of personnel properly, technology, and other barriers to ensure that the people are not invading our country.
One other question here, because we're almost out of time, but we did have news coming out of Afghanistan where, as I understand, you have served, that a two-star general was killed in Afghanistan. Just wanted to see if you had any thoughts on that today, and how the mission in Afghanistan should be changed.
Yeah, well, it's sad to hear one of our 2 stars die. It's always sad to hear one of our soldiers have passed away in combat, especially from a possible insider attack. They just released the name. I think they said his name was Major General Green. They also said this is his first combat deployment. The mission in Afghanistan we're moving it to a support role only, and that's where it needs to stay, to where we are supporting and training the Afghans and letting them do the fight. It's a tragic shame that this man who is going to the Afghan Army officer school was assassinated by either an insider or by a Taliban who dressed up as a Afghan officer.
Colonel, we want to wish you all the best. I mean, all the best. And thank you so much for coming on with us today.
If your listeners can go to my website, which is SeanSeibert.com, I appreciate it because we are seeking donations and support. Spread the word.
SeanSeibert.com, everybody. SeanSeibert.com. Take good care of yourself. Fight the good fight. Talk to you soon, Colonel.
Sir.
Bye now.
Okay.
We will be back with more America on the Edge right after this, and we will be talking about where do you get your news. Give us a call, 318-320-KEEL.
This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
If you haven't yet, go to our website, AmericaOnTheEdge.com. It's different than most websites out there, and that's because it's not a website, it's our nation, created by Logic Nation. As we're launching this new kind of radio show, we decided to partner with a new kind of internet company. Logic Nation gives us a new way to interact with you through your existing social media platforms. We've got Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all in one place, which makes it easy. Too much of the time, social media becomes a place where we bicker and fight rather than listen and learn. Logic Nation gives us the ability to start a new conversation on air and online. So now when you go to our Nation page and start a conversation with CL or with me, we can stay focused on that discussion without getting distracted. It's going to change things, and I believe for the better. Logic Nation has an app to make it easier to browse content on your mobile devices. You can download that for free today. If you have a business that needs to reach your customers in a new interactive way, you should give Logic Nation a try.
SB Magazine, North Louisiana's premier publication, is your source for local entertainment, home decor ideas, gardening information, fashion trends, and seasonal gift guides. Every month, we take you behind the scenes at some of Shreveport-Bossier's most fun events in Eye on SB. And you'll find SB Magazine everywhere. But the best way to make sure you have the most current issue is to subscribe. It's just $16 for 12 months. Call Debbie today or go to our website, sbmag.net. SB Magazine, the pulse of Shreveport-Bossier.
It's the most advanced technology available, engineered with over 200 million sensory receptors. Its all-terrain design is beautifully formed, weather-resistant, reliable, astonishingly high performance in even the most challenging of circumstances. And it is also the finest search technology in the world. There's nothing else quite like a search dog. Be part of the search. Go to searchdogfoundation.org to see how you can help.
8 years ago, Louisiana Power Sports opened for business in Houghton.
Well, a lot has happened since then.
Louisiana Power Sports has grown into the #1 exclusive Polaris dealer in the South, and we're still growing. Louisiana Power Sports is now open in our big new building on Benton Road, just 1/2 mile north of I-220 in Bossier City. Over 30,000 square feet with a bigger showroom holding more new Polaris ATVs and side-by-sides than ever. A huge new state-of-the-art service department and more parts and accessories. Come see the new store, say hi to everyone you know, and see and test drive the new 2015 Polaris models. Louisiana Power Sports says thank you, Louisiana, thank you, Arkansas, thank you, Texas, for 8 great years in Houghton, and invites you to come see us in our big new location, now open at 3715 Benton Road, 1/2 mile north of I-220 in Bossier City.
Louisiana Power Sports, get ready to ride.
LouisianaPowersports.com.
Giving you the edge. This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant. I am Stephen Parr. Our question of the day today has been, where do you get your news? As we're about to talk about, there's a limited choice. It may seem like there's a lot of choice, but there's limited choice.
Very limited. Very limited.
CL, we were just making fun of Representative Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yeah, we were. You really want to call it making fun of her?
No, we weren't. Okay.
we really weren't making fun.
Yes,
we were.
I was. And so I'm a little nervous because I understand on the phone.
We were kind of making
fun. We were just pointing out some of the things that she said. We were letting her make fun of herself. But on the phone, I'm a little nervous because apparently we have a caller named Sheila. And I don't know if this is Representative Sheila Jackson Lee or not. I'm kind of hoping it's not.
We'll soon find out.
Sheila, are you on the phone?
Yes.
It's not
no,
Sheila. It's not Sheila Jackson Lee.
Okay, it's not Sheila Jackson Lee. Excellent. So our question of the day today has been, where do you get your news? Where do you get your news?
I get it from the internet. I am a college student, and the best way for me to stay informed is from the internet.
Well, let me ask you this, Sheila. Is Jon Stewart news to college students? I mean, I run into a lot of college students, and I'm assuming that you're college student age, who take Jon Stewart's commentary as gospel. Are you in that category?
I am not.
I applaud you for that. What are you studying?
I am a history and English major.
Oh, hey, that's me. I'm right down that line with you. I was Western civilization, and I wish you all the best. Let me ask you this as well, Sheila, while we got you here. Do you see the trend toward internet news becoming the most popular form of enlightenment for young people?
Definitely. I mean, we are spending the majority of our time on the internet. As a college student, you don't have time to sit there and watch TV. So while you're studying or while you're typing a paper, you just click over, and whatever is right there in front of you, that's what you tend to see. And it's not always right, but that's, whatever is up there on that screen is what we are reading and what we are seeing.
Sheila, we want you to tune in at least 1 hour a day and encourage a friend to do it. We certainly want to have more young people like yourself listening to the show to build that bridge of conversation that we need to have here in our American living room.
You guys are wonderful. I've never heard a show that, is not afraid to say anything like you guys are. I love it. It's awesome.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This is C.L. Bryant, America on the Edge, just on with Sheila. Thank you for your call, Sheila.
The reason why we've been bringing this up today is there was an article in Business Insider yesterday, and actually you can read it online, as Sheila was just saying, businessinsider.com. And they posted an infographic. Basically, it's a picture that has information in it, and it's
an infographic.
It's a thing. It's a deal.
I'm getting old.
And it's called The Illusion of Choice. And it says, media has never been more consolidated. 6 media giants, 6 companies now control 90% of what we read, watch, and listen to.
And you thought that you were thinking these thoughts on your own. Not so.
Let me mention the 6 companies it mentions. It's a little out of date because it says GE, but GE let go of NBC, and NBC and Comcast combined into a new company, so it's not GE anymore. But News Corp, Disney, Viacom, Time Warner, and CBS.
Raving
those
liberals.
are the 6.
Progressive
actually,
liberals.
every one of them. Yeah, Disney,
every one of them.
Disney is absolutely, I mean, I know they're family friendly, but when you look at the policies within the company, it's definitely very liberal.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with CBS and Viacom. News Corp's really the only one you might be able to say isn't as liberal as the others.
They're on the fence.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. If you take the money, the revenue in 2010 from those 6 companies, $275.9 billion.
But see, we conservatives are the ones who have all the money and keeping it away from everybody. But what was that figure again? What was that many?
$275.9 billion. Tell you what, let me put it in a different term here. That's enough money to buy every NFL football team 12 times.
Whoa, that is amazing.
That's what they made in 1 year.
She could, Trump wouldn't have any problems becoming king.
Right?
Neither would Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
He had that kind of money.
And by the way, both of those guys have done deals. Bon Jovi with the media
Bills.
companies, with media companies. Trump's been on NBC, which is one of the big media
Oh,
companies.
yeah.
So both of them are involved.
In fact, his show is on his Apprentice.
The Apprentice
show
was on NBC.
That got canceled.
So that's it's just amazing how much they control. News Corp has the largest newspaper on 3 different continents: the Wall Street Journal for North America, the Sun for Europe, and the Australian for Australia.
Your thoughts, folks, are being manipulated. And, one of the things, going back to our caller, Sheila, one of the things that I really liked about that call is that she is choosing for herself what she wants to hear and what she wants to digest.
To try and find alternate sources.
When you flip on the television, that's really not a choice. You're going to hear what's there.
It's coming from one of 6 companies.
Yeah.
On television. At the movies especially. Listen to this. The box office sales were $7 billion in 2010 for those big 6 companies. That is twice as much money as the next 140 studios made combined.
Wow. When they call it television programming, that's exactly what it is. This is C.L. Bryant, America on the Edge. We'll be back to wrap it up in a minute.
This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
If you're tired of getting nickel and dime for your company's marketing needs, GI Marketing Group can help. We're a new, evolved marketing company with no monthly fees or markups and with quicker response times. With GI Marketing Group, there is no outsourcing. We own the production facilities, everything from print, mail, video, digital, and web design. We do it all in-house. Call us today at 318-222-1100 to start saving time and money, or visit us online at gimarketinggroup.com.
Doctors Thornton, Pugh, Ollier, and Watkins from the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center are excited to tell you about a new, made-for-iPhone hearing aid, Resound Links. Resound Links is the fully featured hearing aid designed to connect directly with iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. Built with revolutionary technology to bring you a smarter, smaller, and more connected hearing experience. Call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links. That's 888-408-6318 to schedule your appointment to learn all about Resound Links. Apple, iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch are trademarks of Apple Incorporated, registered in the U.S. and other countries. Once again, call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links.
If you're in need of a good plumber, perhaps you need work on your heater, or especially right now with cooling and refrigeration systems. If you need help, give the friendly folks at Premier a call at 222-1980.
A Harley-Davidson isn't something you just ride. It's a place inside your head. It's where you go to be free. Bossier City Harley-Davidson. Just like we almost close our eyes to dream, we must sit on a Harley to truly ride. We are the full-service Harley-Davidson dealership with new and pre-owned bikes, service, parts, accessories, and motor clothes. Come talk to the people who speak your language. You drive that road every day, but you need to ride that road for the first time. Bossier City Harley-Davidson, 2225 Autoplex Drive in Bossier City, off Benton Road at I-220.
Hello, everybody. This is Henry Burns. God, faith, and freedom are not free. Many have paid the price. Let freedom ring. What a great radio program. Go get them, CL.
Local, personal, creative. All words that describe Hilburn Printing. Now that's Tiger Hilburn, the office coordinator. And he wants to thank all Hilburn's customers for 28 great years. From attention-getting business cards to classic wedding invitations, promotional items including T-shirts and caps. It's time to visit Tiger and his staff. For the best service, it's Hilburn Printing on Captain Shreve in Broadmoor, 868-8868.
You're listening to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
All right, okay, Justine. This is C.L. Bryant, America on the Edge. I didn't know that I had a Trump groupie sitting here with me. I apologize. I apologize to everybody. Apprentice has not been canceled. I mean, you got a crush on this guy, Trump, don't you? Don't you? I mean, admit it. I mean, I know you do. But anyway, he's not canceled. He's coming. Okay, Justine, to everyone who Trump groupies out there, he's back.
Here's what I love. We've been talking just, off the top of our heads for an hour. The only thing she's corrected was that Trump's not canceled.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
That's the only thing we said wrong all day today.
When we met Trump down in New Orleans, she was shameless.
Oh, yeah?
It was just shameless.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. But anyway, okay, so
right.
Apprentice, for all of you who care, will be back on NBC.
That is excellent. I also understand that, did we get a phone call? Handsome Kyle was answering the phone. Did we get a call in there? Okay, so he's still working on that. We did get a phone call in on that, and I don't know what the phone call said yet.
They probably were calling to correct me.
That Trump's back on. Yeah, it may be Trump.
This is Donald. We had Sheila. Yeah. Now that was the Donald.
Yeah, that was the Donald there. Anyway, so CL, where do you get your news?
I have to admit that I am tuned most of the times to Fox. I do flip over occasionally to see what MSNBC is talking about, but my blood pressure goes up so high that I have to turn it down. Like just so much of Chris that I can take. I also tune into Al Sharpton sometimes. They'll never cancel his show.
Yeah, right.
Chris Matthews will be on forever.
Oh. Man, you're making me sad now.
Yeah, it is.
I get my news sources from a variety of different places. Breitbart, Real Clear Politics, Stratfor, and none of those three, by the way, are controlled by the Big Six. Now they will link to other articles and things along those lines. But I try and get my news from a variety of different sources.
Yeah. Because,
again, working in news for so long, I've read AP copy enough as the Associated Press comes across, and then that gets put out. Really, whatever the AP says can end up in any of those other Big Six media. And there are a lot of times when you find evidence of bias within just a couple of words within. Let me give you an example. Back as the surge was happening in Iraq, things were starting to turn around. The AP wrote an article talking about the, quote, increasingly unpopular war. Well, it was an unpopular war, but at that time, it was no longer increasingly unpopular. And that was an evidence of bias sneaking in.
And they set the trend. They set the trend for it to become increasing. That's an example, folks, of that seed being planted by the Big Six.
And then it gets repeated on local TV stations and radio stations and newspapers all over the country.
And all of a sudden, it's true.
Right.
Well, here we are, folks, at the end of another day. It's been a fun hour with you. It always slips by so fast. God bless you and God keep you. And always let us be thinking of those who defend our right to speak our mind. Those men and women in uniform. God bless them. We'll see you in 23 hours. Bye now.
Keep America strong and living free. They see the damage and the pain.
Your station for news, weather,